Time is 9:14. It's Every Kid Healthy Week, a nationwide push to highlight the importance of kids' physical and mental well-being. Joining us live is Dr. Nate McCaughtry from Wayne State University, who's been leading the charge on building healthier communities right here in Michigan, and of course West Michigan as well. Dr. McCaughtry, we appreciate your time. Tell us about this week. Why is it important that every kid is healthy this week?
Well, I don't know that it's important for every kid to be healthy just this week. I think that is something that needs to occur over the course of entire years and the lifespan of their from birth through adolescence and into adulthood. Now, I think it's great that we're celebrating it and recognizing its importance through publicity, but it is far more important that we create environments where kids
Yeah.
can continue to be healthy.
As we mark Every Kid Healthy Week, of course, we always say when we have one of these weeks, you know, it's not just this week, it's all year round that we need to be looking at the health of our youth these days. Can you just speak upon why it's important to make sure that every kid is healthy all year round?
Well, having worked with nearly 1,000 schools in Michigan over the last 25 years and numerous projects and embedded healthy school activities and curriculum and programs. And by virtue of the fact that we work at a research intensive university, we've also done a lot of research on the outcomes. And I can tell you one thing, we have found some incredibly robust results and probably results that we wouldn't necessarily have expected. I'll give you some examples. For example, students who are in healthy schools get more physical activity, they eat better, and they have lower rates of obesity, which obviously is a precursor to many chronic diseases. But what we didn't necessarily expect to find are robust results related to its impact on school performance. Kids who are educated in health-focused schools have higher rates of academic achievement. They attend school more often. They have fewer behavioral incidents during classes. They have a higher learning attention span. So you can see that healthy schools has multiple positive impacts, both on the mission of education of the school, but also the health of kids. And one of the most important things that we've learned and the pandemic has taught us is the importance to focus on children's mental health and the ways in which schools can play a role there. Healthy schools increase children's self-esteem, their sense of belongingness, their decreased sense of loneliness, and their overall quality of life. So when you talk about healthy schools, you and the outcomes that can occur, you really have to look at children as multidimensional.
Yeah, so you're talking a lot about just some of the behind the scenes factors in health in general. Can you talk about some ways that schools in the local communities or maybe even families can get involved to help promote a healthy child lifestyle?
Yep. So one of our principles is when we work with when we initiate a healthy school initiative is to take a regional approach. And region can mean many things. It can mean a whole city, it can mean a whole school district, a whole county. But you cannot have nearly as much impact when you work one-off schools. What you want is an entire community's health to get impacted. So we try to recruit schools and work with schools in an entire geographic region. You got to have stakeholder buy-in. If the decision makers aren't on board with creating healthy schools and promoting it actively with families and all constituents, it isn't going to work. But probably the most important thing is that creating healthy schools doesn't happen in one location in the school. You have to imagine a kid who arrives at school, whether they're getting dropped off by a parent or a bus, but they're coming in, and from the moment they walk in the school building, they need to be surrounded by healthy messaging, healthy programs. And we're talking about bolstering recess, high quality PE, high quality classroom practices and curriculum, emphasis after school programs and opportunities, having active principals who are echoing the message and supporting our staff. So that was our imagination, is thinking about a kid walking into school at the beginning of the day and leaving at the end, and how can we help to facilitate a healthy environment and learning the entire school day.
Certainly a challenge that I know that you have been focusing on. We're going to get to your program that you help lead to kind of promote healthy kids here in just a few seconds. I want to ask you, though, what do you think at this point the biggest challenge is in helping kids stay healthy today? I know that some communities may not have the resources that others have.
Yep, resources is a huge issue, and one of the reasons why we have worked in the communities that we have over the last 25 years, um, to look at areas that are facing need. It could be economic need, it could be school success, it could be the impact of COVID in particular areas, social vulnerability, and to really target resources into communities and invest resources into communities that aren't as, I'll just use the word affluent, but don't have the, many districts have the capacity to do healthy school transformations, but many don't. And so targeting resources, working intentionally with areas that need resources because they have the desire for healthy schools is super important.
Yeah, Healthy Schools is the topic of one program that you help spearhead at Wayne State that promotes healthy communities. Can you talk about that program and what work are you guys specifically doing to help promote a healthy child lifestyle in schools and maybe just the community in general?
Yep, yep. So, and to truth be told, over the last 25 years, I've had numerous opportunities to work on nearly a dozen different programs, create what we use this term healthy school transformation. It's just the term we've coined. And so we've worked in whole communities like Livonia and Dearborn, Detroit, geographic regions. But I think the program you're really referring to is one of our longest standing collaborative projects with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan, where we have worked in nearly 500 elementary schools throughout Michigan, um, literally every county. And we take that approach. We embed the resources into the schools and make sure that PE teachers have the equipment they need and the curriculum they need to teach great classes, that classroom teachers have access to curriculum around teaching nutrition and the importance of physical activity, and many, many more. One of the most important components of our program is something we call Healthy at Home. It started during the pandemic when we realized that kids all of a sudden were getting educated at home and they were missing out on the health environment of their schools. And so we created a Healthy at Home program where we developed incredible resources that were all virtual, that kids could continue to learn about healthy living in many different facets. So could their parents, as a substitute, that knowing they're isolated and had fewer opportunities. Now, that has transformed a bit, and Healthy at Home is now a vehicle whereby schools can be able to disseminate healthy living resources, information. They can allow the public to know the healthy school transformation that's happening in their school, in the hopes that families embrace those activities and start to integrate them in the home environment the same way they're happening at the school. Communication might happen via newsletters, websites, social media, emails, but that's the importance. We also have school events like family fitness nights and family challenges and a host of other things, because you can educate kids at school, but if they go home to a less healthy environment and parents aren't aware of what's happening at the school, kids only spend roughly 1/4 of their lives in school, but 3/4 outside. And so being able to have mechanisms that transition what they learn in school outside the school environment is essential.
I want to ask you about the schools that you have seen trend in the positive direction after your work. Have you guys seen that metric, the needle, move in a positive direction with this program? What has been the experience so far?
Yeah. So the outcomes I mentioned earlier, the increased physical activity, healthy eating, decreased obesity, increased academic achievement, and all the mental and behavioral health variables I mentioned, that's all our science. We've studied and we've used quasi-experimental designs looking at the impact of our healthy school programs on those schools versus schools that don't implement the program. So we have firm science to be able to substantiate the kinds of things that we have. But we also have stories. Every year we survey parents, every constituent in the school environment, asking them what they think how the program has impacted them, their kids' learning, their kids' health, their future aspirations to continue the program after the initial capacity building is over. And we have received countless just amazing stories from teachers, principals, parents about how our programs have literally changed the trajectory, especially health-wise, of their children. And it's, you can have database science. That's great, and that's one side of the story to tell.
Yeah.
But having narratives that are powerful and impactful are equally important.
We got about 2 minutes left, and I want to ask you about, if there are any parents, teachers, or maybe even kids watching this interview right now, is there something they can do right now to help build a healthier habit moving forward?
Yeah. Figure out how to get your kids into activities where they're being physically active. Be conscious at the grocery store when purchasing foods. And we all know that healthier foods can sometimes cost more, but there are modifications that can be made. And to all the elementary schools out there in Michigan, our Building Healthy Communities program every single year selects 30 or more elementary schools to offer the program to help work together to build healthier schools. So if parents, educators, principals, doesn't matter, our website is bhcwsu.org. And there's a portal where people can input their interest in having the program.
Okay, very great conversation, Dr. McCaughtry from Wayne State. We really appreciate not only the work that you're doing with your program there, but of course, everything you're doing to help keep kids healthy on this Every Kid Healthy Week, which we should be honoring all year round. Thank you so much for your conversation. I really appreciate it.